I'm talking to the AM class. Remember, they're the ones that come in the morning, and the PM class all at the same time today. And right now, it's lunchtime. You may be eating lunch right now. I want to wish you all a happy St. Patrick's Day. I have a song to bring you together. Get in a comfortable position and stick your bums on the carpet or the floor and get ready to hear a story from me about St. Patrick's Day. And I wish you all luck in trying to find the leprechaun. Maybe he's hiding outside. Maybe he's... I've been checking the roof up high to see if he's going to come out of that crack. Today's the only day. I know he's from Ireland, and he does disappear by midnight. And don't worry, he's just a little trickster, nothing to be scared about. More so trying to protect his gold. So, let's get ready to get comfortable and stick our bums. Put your hands up high, put your hands down low, put your hands to the side and wave them to and fro. Put them right together and around and round. Hide them onto your bum so they can't be found. Take out your super glue. Super glue the right cheek, super glue the left cheek. Stick, 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 stick. Clap hands in your lap. So, my friends, one thing about St. Patrick's Day is it's all about wearing the color green. And you know how to make green, right? What two colors make green? You got it. Yellow and blue. Now, St. Patrick's Day falls on March 17th every year. So let's go ahead and check out our calendar and get to our day 17. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's a shamrock right there. Coming after 16 is, do you know what color? Green or yellow? 17, green. So our whole date today, say it with me, friends, March 17, 2020. Speaking of the day today, let's take a look at the weather. Do you think it's freezing? I looked at my watch and I saw the temperature today is above freezing, about 45. Is it cold enough to snow? Yes or no? I also looked up in the sky and I saw partly cloudy and felt a little wind. So, my friends, getting back to March 17th, there's a country far away that you have to fly to called Ireland. And Ireland is a land of castles, and it's a land of lots of green rolling hills and marshes and bogs. It's known to have made up stories about giants and fairies, and of course our favorite, the leprechaun. So today I have a story for you called Leprechaun on the Loose. And this little leprechaun is on the loose in a classroom. And Sydney is the only one who sees him. Can Sydney catch the leprechaun before he ruins the St. Patrick's Day party? Are you ready? Here we go. A leprechaun was loose in the classroom, and Sydney was the only one who knew it. Sydney saw a tiny green footprint on the floor. He followed them to the table where Mrs. Yoder had cupcakes for their St. Patrick's Day party. Sydney peeked inside the box. All the green icing had been licked off of the cupcakes. Do you see the little footprints? And look, Sydney saw all the green frosting licked off the cupcakes. Sydney set out to find that leprechaun. It was plain bad luck when he stepped on his own shoelace. Oof, whoosh, splat. Sydney fell right on the table. Sydney ruined our party snack, Della Puddington told everyone when Mrs. Yoder threw away the squished box. I didn't do it, Sydney. It was the leprechaun. An itty-bitty came from behind the fish tank, but Sydney was the only one who heard it. During reading time, look at that fish tank. Who do you see in that fish tank? During reading time, Sydney noticed something was wrong with the fish. He sneaked to the back of the room and looked into the tank. The leprechaun was swimming the backstroke, and the fish definitely were not happy. Sydney dove after the leprechaun. Look at that. Can you believe it? Look in the background. Did the leprechaun get away? Kerplunk, sploosh, water soaked the table. Sydney ruined our decorations, said Della. And of course Sydney said, I didn't do it. Who did it, my friends? You're right. The leprechaun. Sydney was sure he heard a tiny little in the background. During science class, Sydney heard a creak, creak, creak coming from the hamster's cage. Sydney tiptoed to the cage. He carefully opened the door and came face to face with the leprechaun. Boys and girls, in the hamster cage, did you see that? Hamster's kind of like a really small guinea pig. Goodness. He tiptoed to the cage. He carefully opened the door and came face to face with the leprechaun. While Sydney and the leprechaun stared at each other, the hamster ran out the open door and across the table. No, do you see the little hamster running away right here? And there's the leprechaun. Sydney dived after the hamster. Boom, bam, crash. Sydney fell against the table. Juice went everywhere, just as the hamster scurried out of sight. Oh, no. Our juice is gone, Della said. So are the decorations and all of our cupcakes. Sydney ruined our St. Patrick's Day party, she said. Sydney was sure he heard another little faint. Who do you say probably did that? Do you think the leprechaun? Me too. Nobody believed that Sydney didn't do it. There was only one thing for him to do. He had to catch that leprechaun. At recess, Sydney sneaked past his teacher and ran to the art corner. Everything he needed was there. What is he going to make, boys and girls? Do you think he's going to make a trap? Let's see. Sydney pounded and snapped and glued. Perfect, he said when he finished his leprechaun trap. Then he hurried into the lunchroom and looked through the lunch trays until he found a stinky tidbit of corned beef. Now it looks like Sydney has some levers and looks like this might drop down when the leprechaun is attracted to a little bit of corned beef, which is a kind of meat that a lot of people like to eat on St. Patrick's Day. And look at the rainbows and the decorations around. Oh, he found a piece of meat. Sydney carefully reached inside his leprechaun trap with the bait. Just then his foot knocked into the back of the trap and swish, clang, zing, Sydney was caught inside. He heard the tippity tap, tap, tap of itty bitty boots. I do believe I've caught me a boy, that I have, said the leprechaun with a big grin. Let me out, Sydney begged. The tiny man scratched under his tall green hat. Now why should I be wanting to do such a thing as that, the little leprechaun said. Sydney thought fast. Come closer and I'll tell you a secret, he said. Secrets? I love secrets, said the leprechaun. And he did indeed. That's when Sydney made his move. He reached out excuse me, and tickled the leprechaun right under the chin. The leprechaun fell down and hit the trap door, and the door flew open. Sydney rolled out and punched the leprechaun inside. Swish, clang, zing. I got you, Sydney yelled. Now I can prove that you ruined the party. Not me. So, boys and girls, it looks like he caught the leprechaun. Party, said the little man. I'll make you a deal. Let me go and I'll save the party. Then I'll be gone and you'll never see me again, I promise. How can a leprechaun save our party, Sydney asked. With me treasure, of course, he said. Should he keep the leprechaun and prove he didn't ruin everything, Sydney wondered, or should he let the leprechaun go home and save the party for all of his friends? What do you think he should do, boys and girls? Let's think about that a moment. Sydney was running out of time. His class was right outside the door. Sydney had to think of an idea. Where's our leprechaun? There's our leprechaun. Quick! Tell me where your treasure is, Sydney said. He leaned close, and the leprechaun whispered in his ear. Wow. Sydney knew a deal was a deal. He opened the trap door and watched the leprechaun climb out. The leprechaun turned one last time and tipped his hat at Sydney. Then the teeny tiny man slipped out the window and was gone. Boys and girls, do you see that? Sydney found the treasure right where the leprechaun said it would be. It was just what he needed to save the party. The class cheered. Even Della Puddington smiled at Sydney. Mrs. Yoder wasn't mad at him anymore, even if she didn't quite believe where Sydney got the party supplies. Sydney was finally able to forget all of the trouble the leprechaun had caused. Then Sydney heard something terrible. What next? Oh no, look behind that crayon box. Excuse me, lad, said a tiny voice from behind Sydney's box of crayons. I'm looking for me brother. Have you seen him anywhere? Oh no, is that the brother of the leprechaun? I think so. And that is our story, Leprechaun on the Loose. I hope you enjoyed it, boys and girls. Tomorrow, I will be back with a book called How Big Were the Dinosaurs? I look forward to seeing all of you again, and I hope you're getting your letter G, G, or Ja. Doing your activities that I sent you in the mail, and finding G items around the house. G, gorilla, G, gate, G, guitar, G, goat, or J, giraffe. See you tomorrow, boys and girls. We all miss you, we all love you, and we can't wait to get back to school next month. Bye.